All right, long ball number one here on Wednesday, June 4th, with the Gold Cup and a full summer slate of games to come. Players are dropping like flies. There was already a lot of contention about who was not on this roster, and we've lost a few more, Jason.
Yeah, not ideal, right? I think enthusiasm for this Gold Cup dropped significantly when we found out that Christian Pulisic was like, nah, I don't want to come. Can you guys just let me play golf for the summer or whatever? And then, we already knew that Weston McKennie wasn't going to be there and Tim Weah wasn't going to be there and Giovanni Reyna wasn't going to be there. And now we are in a moment where we've lost Valerie Balogun to injury. What it does mean is that the Philadelphia Union is even more heavily represented in this team than they were to begin with, because the guys that have come in to replace those injured players have have Philadelphia Union history. Nathan Harriel is one of those players. Who am I missing? The other one. There's another. You don't have it in front of you, Rob? You don't have the roster? You don't have
I'll
the
pull it up.
US?
I'll pull it up in a second here. I was
Okay.
looking at the list of people who had left, but
Well,
default in my work here.
Yeah, again, it kind of speaks to, and sorry for the lack of information, it's just not coming to my head, but it speaks to the issue of this roster and this moment a year away from the World Cup, like a year. Now, we are very much an in the moment society, and some people might not even know the World Cup's happening until it's flopping around on their face. Oh, the World Cup is here. Oh, that's what's going to happen for a lot of people in this country. But there's obviously a lot of very hardcore, dedicated U.S. men's national team fans who are keenly aware the World Cup is coming and would like our U.S. men's national team to be ready. What is it? The thing that the Boy Scouts always say? Ron, I don't know if you were a Boy Scout. What is the thing the Boy Scouts say?
Always be prepared.
Be prepared, right? Are we prepared? I don't know if Mauricio Pochettino was whatever the Argentine version of the Boy Scouts is, or maybe it's Boy Scouts. Could be international. I don't know. I don't know if he's got that, and I'm sure he wants to be prepared. What we know he's prepared to do is to go on other shows and talk about the U.S. men's national team. He went on the what's it called? Unfiltered? Is that what it's called with Landon and Tim Howard? And he went on there and he reiterated the messaging that I think U.S. soccer is very keen to get out there of, which is that this is not a vacation. When you come to represent the U.S. men's national team, this is an opportunity to play for your country. It is a privilege. You have to show up. You have to work hard. That this is not a take it for granted kind of situation, right? Now, he also said that Christian Pulisic is sort of like the U.S. Messi, and that we should sort of be thinking about that way. Here's the quote: "The people need to prioritize the national team. We were talking about Argentine players or Brazilian players or English players or Spanish players. They are desperate. Even Messi, even Neymar, even Mbappe for France. These guys are desperate to go to the national team. For them, when they go, they don't see if it's a friendly game, if it's an official game, if it's a World Cup. It doesn't matter, because the possibility to defend one more time your flag, your shirt, it's about to feel proud, and that is the responsibility to us to translate." And I wonder if he's doing a good job of that. And I wonder if Christian Pulisic sends that message by begging off duty this summer, Rob, because that was part of my issue.
Well, I mean, it is pretty damning when people throw that's a lot of weight to throw at someone. Messi always makes his games. Why can't you? But I'm sure if Messi had a hip injury, as they are saying, that is the main reason for Christian to miss this summer's action, is because of the hip. I mean, at the end of the day, it is an individual to individual game, right? Not everyone's situation is the same. You can't be covering everyone in the same cloth. If he's going to ruin his hip by playing a bunch of games this summer, then it is what it is. But you don't want your leader to be missing a game. He's not in a wheelchair, so it's not as obvious that he needs to miss. So it's just the visibility of the injury doesn't do him any favors. Because what Messi in the Copa America, when his ankle was the size of a basketball, it's he can miss some games. Clearly his ankle's that way, but it's hard to see a hip. But it doesn't send the great message as far as participation with all those optics. But at the end of the day, optics are very temporary. And what did you say? You don't really notice what's going on with the game. A lot of people in the United States until the World Cup is flopping in their face, you said?
Yeah,
I mean,
like a fish on top of their faces. That's a thing people say all the time, right? Like I didn't know it was happening until there was a fish flopping in my face. Now I'm obviously being a little facetious, but yeah, I look and I don't want. I guess my concern again is like everybody else. When the national team hits the field in the World Cup next year, will we be saying, okay, they're ready and they look good and they look like they want to put on a show and win games and drive interest in the sport in this country, in addition to just going as far as they can because we care about them as our team? Or are we going to look back and say, wow, what a bunch of wasted opportunities? What a bunch of time we didn't take advantage of. Look at how bad they are. Should have done more back in June of 2025. That's all.
well, now, especially with Balogun, most notable of the recent departures from the squad. So, where are the goals going to come from in this list? I mean, Ajamang, White, Downs, and Wright.
Yeah, I mean, Damian Downs is an unknown quantity at the national team level. He's an exciting player playing in the second Bundesliga. I'll leave it to you to decide how excited you should be about Damian Downs. Then you've got Ajamang, who showed us something back in that January camp, Rob. But that was a January camp. We kind of know what the level is in that competition or in those friendlies, and he has not gone on a tear in Major League Soccer since then. He scored a couple of goals, but he has not been prolific for Charlotte. And
No.
then you mentioned Brian White. Brian White has been prolific for Vancouver, but he's 29 years old, and I think there is still reason to be doubtful that he's going to be a difference maker. Now, I want to address something from our chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to our members. Nate's in there. He's a member.
Yeah,
Daniel
welcome and good
saying,
morning.
if the USA fails to win the Gold Cup, is this the end for Poach? Absolutely not. No chance. Now, if they finish 8th, I guess maybe that's a different question, Rob. Like if they somehow don't get out of the group or something, then that's maybe a different question. But if they just fail to win, no. They'll justify it. It's a learning experience. It's an experimental side. We've got to give Poach time to figure this out. He didn't have Pulisic. He didn't have McKennie. He didn't have Weah. He didn't have Reyna. He didn't have Balogun. He didn't have Pepe. He didn't have Jedi Robinson. And that those are excuses for how this might go. But I do think we should be holding them to a standard of show us something. That's your job, Pochettino. Hagas tu trabajo. Like, do your job.
But at the same point, when we were watching, we'll come to the women in a little bit. But I mean, how much of a lead in did Emma Hayes have to the Olympics? And she had some more at her disposal, but she was able to turn around and put in a winning performance. This is definitely a thrown together squad, built in. That's probably why there's less enthusiasm, built in excuses for Poch and the team with the absences and whatnot. It's not put the junk on the line is not going to happen this Gold Cup. But here's the Gold Cup. If we don't get out of the group, or the United States doesn't get out of the group, they start off against Trinidad and Tobago, then take out Saudi Arabia, and then take on Haiti. And any coach in the world that cannot get out of that group probably doesn't deserve a job, even if it's the C or the D team.
No, that's fair. That is exactly right. That is exactly right. That group screams, get out of the group. And then we'll start to wonder when we see the knockout phase of the tournament. And again, are you going to get a final against Mexico, that kind of thing? And then that will be something we can judge his work against with this group and this does become an exercise in find the guys who are going to maybe surprise everybody and make a roster next year. Find the depth, find those players. If you are worried about commitment from certain groups, certain guys, if you have issues in certain areas of the field, okay, let's see it. Let's see what you can give us.
Before the Gold Cup starts, there is 2 friendlies on the 7th of June against Turkey and then on the 10th against Switzerland. So next week, men's national team action is upon us.